The most thrilling, spine-tingling series ever.
From the pages of R.L. Stine's best-selling books,
And the screams go on forever and ever.
We now return to Goosebumps.
Come see us at Curse City Con in San Antonio, Texas, September 27th and 28th. Buy your tickets at cursecitycon.com or click the link in the description. Greetings, Goosebumps fans, young and old, big and small, living dead and undead. Welcome back to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Isaiah Vargas. I'm joined by my good buddy, Nick Shaw. We are the Goosebumps Crew, and we're back to what else? Talk some Goosebumps. If this is your first time joining us here on the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, want to just say hi, hello, welcome, how you doing? Good to see ya. If you are or have ever been a fan of the popular Goosebumps series of books or the monster franchise those books spawned, or if you're just getting into it for the first time and you want to see what all the buzz is about, then I have a feeling this podcast is going to be right up your alley, because as I always say, me, Bjorn, and Nick are some of the biggest Goosebumps nerds on the entire planet. We could talk about Goosebumps for hours on end, and that's exactly what we do here on this podcast. Every week we got a brand new episode talking about everything Goosebumps, whether it's the books, TV shows, movies, video games, merchandise, whatever it is. If it has Goosebumps in the name, we're going to talk about it so much that you at home are going to get Goosebumps as a result. So with all that said, if you end up liking today's episode, make sure you leave a like and comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so when new episodes go up every Wednesday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, you'll get a nice little notification telling you, hey, it's ready, go watch it. But if you're just dying to get those episodes early, trust me, I know the feeling, then you are in luck, because you can catch the audio-only versions of new episodes a day early over on our audio platforms. We're streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your podcast, you'll find the Goosebumps Crew. And of course, you can follow us over on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, just to name a few. You can also follow Bjorn and Nick at Goosebumps Aussie Fan and Shawn, respectively, and their social medias and their YouTubes. All those links are in the description below. So check them out. Join the Goosebumps Crew today. Become a crew member. We appreciate in advance for your support. And also, don't forget, we're going to be appearing in San Antonio, Texas this September, just a few weeks away, for Curse City Con. It's our very first con appearance. So if you guys want to meet us in person under one roof, as well as some other Goosebumps guests, including Tim Jacobus, Jack Lenz, Manny Gonzalez, Avery Jones, Craig White, and even R.L. Stine himself is going to be there. So it's going to be a huge celebration of Goosebumps. You're not going to want to miss it. Go to cursecitycon.com or click the link in the description to get your tickets today while they still are here. Don't wait, because they're going to go by fast. Now, time for this week's...
The R.L. Stine stuff, VIP already sold out.
Oh,
that
yeah.
fast.
So you got to get your stuff right away.
Yeah.
Because it's going fast. There's lots of Goosebumps fans out there that want to get there. This is going to be the event for Goosebumps. So go check it out. Go get your tickets while you still can before it's too late. But now it's time for the main event of the week. We got a big release just on the horizon. At the time of recording this, just a few days away, we are getting the brand new Goosebumps video game, Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek. It is the newest Goosebumps video game, newest installment from publisher Gamemil, and the first Goosebumps video game from developer PHL Entertainment, or PHL Collective, excuse me. So it's on the horizon. It's a brand new stealth adventure game, and it's coming out on August 29th. So by the time this episode goes up, it'll already been out for a few days. But we're getting the jump on things right away, because we have some very special guests who have joined us here on the podcast. One of them's here today. We have the main voice actress for the character Sloane Spencer joining us here today, Mrs. Morgan Taylor, voiceover artist, actress, and radio host. Morgan, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Goosebumps Crew.
Thanks for having me, Mrs. Morgan Taylor. My husband's gonna love that. I love that.
Might as well.
Period.
Period.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're very happy to have you. We're very excited to talk about your involvement with this brand new video game. As I said, you play the lead character in this video game, this Goosebumps game, and we're very excited to talk about your involvement. But first, before we get to that, we actually had an opportunity to talk with Brian Gitlin, who is the design director over at PHL Collective and the lead on development of this project. We talked with him just yesterday, so why don't we go ahead and see what he had to say. So here we are. We're sitting here with PHL Collective design director and lead on the development of Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek, Mr. Brian Gitlin. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you. And as I said, you are a design director for PHL Collective, which is the developer on Terror in Little Creek, and thus you were lead on the development of this project. So we're very interested to get your insight on how it was creating this new Goosebumps game. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about PHL as a company and your role.
Yeah, so PHL Collective, we're based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've been in making games for about 12 years now. So we primarily specialize in licensed kids games. So we've done a whole bunch of different stuff. Most recently, the Patrick Star game for SpongeBob SquarePants and Nickelodeon. And before that, Justice League, Cosmic Chaos. And Addams Family before that, Ben 10, a bunch of stuff with Cartoon Network. So we've been all over the place, really focusing in on kids' entertainment.
And how did you guys get involved with the Goosebumps franchise?
Yeah, so a lot of the games that we've done in the past have been for Outright Games, who are close partners with Gamemil. So they connected us. Gamemil came to us and said, hey, we're really looking to make a Goosebumps game. We'd love to hear your ideas on it and pitch us what you have. So we put together a pitch presentation, just like a PowerPoint, with all of the details of what we think the game could be like, what the inspirations are, what the art style would look like. And they really liked it. So we used that as the jumping off point and then build all of the pieces of the game, every little design detail, every moment of the gameplay based off of that.
And can you tell us a little bit about what the story of the game is, what Terror in Little Creek is about?
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much because we have some twists and turns. We definitely want to save the reveal of the endings as a surprise for people. But basically,
Goosebumps without some
some twists and turns. That's like the whole mantra.
We could go into that more, but we spent a lot of time figuring out what those would be. But yeah, so the general premise here is our main character, Sloane. Her town is under curfew. They lock down the town and they're not sure what's going on. So being inquisitive kids, they want to figure out what it is. They've had some issues with these lockdowns, canceling school events, and they want to go out and figure out what's the cause of this and how can we make it stop. So they sneak out of their house at night. They all meet up and they've got some clues from social media and they start pursuing those. And over the course of the game, they encounter a bunch of monsters and are trying to figure out who to trust and who not to trust. There's a bunch of adults in the picture who seem to be misleading them. And so they really only trust each other. They band together, work as a group, and figure out how to take down all of the monsters and return the town to normal.
And for those who have not seen the trailer for Goosebumps in Little Creek, we'll go ahead and show it right here.
Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek.
Why are you here?
We're just trying to figure out why the town is on lockdown with a curfew.
I saw someone posted something about hearing strange noises at the library.
Monsters are real.
What is that?
Let's spread out and see what we can find.
Oh no! What have I done?
Coming this August.
Yeah, so with this game, were you in yourself, like a lot of people know about Goosebumps, whether that's through this person or that person, or you lived through the 90s, however the case may be. With this, though, coming to a game, were you a fan of Goosebumps prior to this? So was it something like you were really excited to jump onto as a project?
Yeah, definitely growing up with the Goosebumps books, the Scholastic Fair at school was always something that everybody would look forward to, and seeing the new Goosebumps covers was always really exciting. So I definitely have fond memories of it as a kid. And it's funny, actually, I had a Goosebumps encounter at Universal Studios that for years afterwards, my parents would always retell the story where I thought it was a Slappy statue, and I went up to investigate it and was grabbing on it, started playing with the mouth, and then it grabbed me. It turned out it was a person in full costume, and I ran away screaming. It like ruined the whole rest of my day. But it was something that constantly got brought up. It was such a memorable story. So Goosebumps, even when I wasn't actively reading the book, was constantly being brought up within my family. So yeah, when we got this project, getting to go back and reread the books, and I also watched the show as a kid, so there was a lot of like little things that I completely forgot about that came flooding back to me when I revisited all of this.
Absolutely. And when it came to, because Goosebumps is such a big franchise that's been around for decades and has been a part of so many generations, when it came to making a new Goosebumps game, what was sort of the approach that the team was taking in creating it?
Yeah, so I mean, one, we definitely didn't want to retread too much. We didn't want to just give you the same game that you've seen before. We wanted to do something new and original and unique, and also just put our twist on it. We have a certain style of making games, things that we like and suit our studio. So we wanted to make sure that we were setting ourselves up to make the best game possible and deliver to the fans, something that they would really enjoy. So for this game in particular, our influence was all the original books. So none of the new stuff, just all of like the 90s, the first what was it, like 60 some books that were released.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had some issues even with some of the early, like our initial presentation, our pitch. You used Count Von Smelling, I believe the name of the little vampire dog, as one of the villains. And they were like, that's, the choose your own story, the, reader beware series. They're like, let's focus on the original, mainline books and pull inspiration from them. So we really dove into those, read as many books as we could, and pulled as much inspiration from that series as we possibly could.
And as us here at the Goosebumps crew, we're huge advocates for taking inspiration from the 90s era, so we're very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Especially, bringing that into the modern era, where a lot of kids who are just getting into the books probably didn't grow up with that whole amazing era of Goosebumps where it was everywhere. So you said you took a lot of inspiration from the original book series, a lot of those very iconic stories. Are there any particular stories that come to mind when it came to inspiring some of the monsters that appear in the game?
Yeah. So without, again, giving too much away, the ones that you can see from the trailer and on the main cover were from Return of the Mummy, as well as the Curse of the Mummy, right? The first one. But Return of the Mummy, we pulled a lot of inspiration from, as well as Phantom of the Auditorium. So those are our two main villains that you will be seeing constantly throughout the game. And our ideas for pulling inspiration from them was they're not the original books necessarily. We thought of them as inspired by that, and maybe for some of it, what could have happened after the books. So to continue build on what was in those without just retelling those same exact stories.
Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to build your own universe with what Scholastic will allow, of course, because I've heard they're very and we've had our fun with them too. They're very very specific is what I'm going to say when it comes to how they want things with Goosebumps.
Yeah, very protective, I would say. Through our experience, it was always making sure that we were staying true to the source material, and the idea of, not retelling those stories, building off of what could have happened after, gave us more of the creative freedom to stick to the source material without, needing to justify why these monsters are in this town together and they weren't in the previous story. It's like, well, these are events that came after the book. Somebody else is in play who's bringing this all together and orchestrating the behind the scenes monster chaos that we're seeing.
I like that. I like that it gives spotlight to some of the Goosebumps monsters that maybe don't get a lot of the spotlight. A lot of people, when they think of like the popular Goosebumps monsters, they think of Slappy especially, or like the Haunted Mask or Monster Blood. So it's interesting to see some of that inspiration taken from some of those maybe not as iconic stories like Phantom of the Auditorium or Return of the Mummy.
Yeah. And I mean, for one, those were stories that really just stuck out to me as some of my favorites. So I was really inspired to pull from some of those, but I also definitely felt a bit of Slappy fatigue, where it was like everyone has seen Slappy a million times now. How can we serve the fans best and show them something else? Like what original could we really do with Slappy that, they haven't already seen? So yeah, let's serve some of these more underserved characters and bring them into light and help a new generation to connect with those characters and those stories.
Absolutely. And
I really like that because we actually did an episode on Slappy fatigue, as a matter of fact. Funny you say that, because it literally since even the 90s, while Curly was the mascot, Slappy was always prevalent in those situations too, in merchandise and TV and this, that, and the other. And he just took over when the series relaunched. So, and it's been nonstop. Don't get me wrong, I like Slappy. Haunted Mask being my favorite of all time, but you do get some Slappy fatigue for sure. Seeing Phantom of the Auditorium is really cool because they did that play. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but if you haven't checked that out, the play is actually really cool. The music for it, I haven't actually gotten to see the play, but it is based on Phantom of the Auditorium. So seeing that get a little more love, because that is a great book. Seeing that get a little more love is pretty nice.
Yeah, and it was just a really cool character to pull from for like a haunted game like this. It's very chilling, even having worked on the game for 1,000 hours plus. When you're creeping around an environment and see that phantom coming at you, and we added a really creepy laugh and a cry for the phantom that even when it's off in the distance, you can hear it and know that it's coming. It just felt like a really great character for a game like this.
I love that. Now, what were some of the most difficult challenges when it comes to working on this game, but really any video game?
Yeah, I mean, so specifically for this game, to go back to the endings, that was something that we really spent a lot of time on. We've must have done a couple dozen iterations of the end of this game, and there's a couple endings. So depending on what you do in the game, you can get different ending. Choosing the good route or the bad route. But
so you kind of actually did take a little bit. I mean, you couldn't use the character, but you did do some choose your own adventures. In a way. Yeah, like a player beware moment or two in there. So you get to decide the way that the game ultimately plays out. So that'll be really fun for players to see, those endings and how Sloane ultimately tackles the challenges that she's confronting. But the ending was really tough. I mean, we knew how the gameplay would end, what the player needed to do fairly early on, but just nailing the specifics of the twists there, so that they do ultimately solve the problem at hand, but maybe it's not all resolved. Maybe there's something still going on that is going to come up in the future. That really felt like the classic Goosebumps, like the last page or the last paragraph is like, oh man, that's not going to end well.
Like the sort of cliffhangers on every turn, like that sort of thing keeps you hooked on the story.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was really challenging. We spent a lot of time just writing different ideas, going back and forth with Gamemil, Sony, and Scholastic to make sure that we really nailed that. And in order to do that, we had to spend a lot of time actually on the pre-story. So what came before this game and why all these events are happening and how they all tie together to ultimately decide what the twists are and how the game ends.
And we already mentioned, some of the fact that there's multiple endings, so it depends on how the player progresses through the game to get, maybe a good ending or a bad ending, which is very in line with Goosebumps because it comes down to how the player interacts with the environment and the path that they choose. So that's a really interesting feature. Are there any other interesting additions that help this game stand out from some of the Goosebumps video games that have come in the past?
Yeah, I mean, putting our spin on it, we really wanted it to be like a third-person action adventure style game because that's primarily what we do, what we think we're good at. So it's definitely not a point-and-click game, which I think a lot of people would expect for Goosebumps. It's been done before and has worked well for previous games. But we were pulling more inspiration from like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Crow Country, which is a more recent indie horror game that's very 90s inspired as well. So we wanted there to be a third-person camera, explorable world, a lot of puzzles in there, but taking some of what Resident Evil and other games in that genre are good at and trying to bring that to the Goosebumps genre and make it suitable for kids. So, no over-the-top gore. You're not blasting monsters, but you are able to fight back against some of these monsters. And so, yeah, a lot of the gameplay is that like exploring, resource management, finding new stuff to help you solve the situation at hand, trying to learn about a puzzle, mess around with the puzzle, find some clues in the area that might help you solve it to unlock the next step of the game.
I can't believe it took this long to get a Resident Evil style Goosebumps game. I can't believe I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a really good idea. So it works.
Yeah.
And I've seen, you see some of the gameplay in the trailers, and it does look like it takes a lot more of that action adventure route. Many Goosebumps video games of the past, as you said, a lot of point and click ones. So there was the 2015 movie game, also from Gamemil, about 10 years ago. Then there was, going way back to the beginning, there was Escape from Horrorland and Attack the Mutant. And then besides that, we got Goosebumps Horrorland, which was kind of like a party game, mini game sort of assortment. And then you had Dead of Night, which was sort of like a first-person traversal puzzle game. So the fact that we have something that's more action adventure, a little more on the exciting side, but also kind of it's keeping a little bit of that puzzle, that management, I feel is very much welcome for a franchise like Goosebumps.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the difficulties of making this game in particular, something we really wanted to focus on was not having too much, too many monsters, too many stories. We have a lot of references in the game, but smaller Easter eggs. We really wanted to keep the number of main monsters that you're fighting against smaller. And this, partially is scope of the game, making sure that, if we jam in 100 monsters, it's going to be really difficult to polish it up and really get it feeling good. But also personally, just having those smaller, more grounded stories where, it's not the Avengers. There's not 100 different characters that you need to learn the backstories of, and none of them properly gets served. Their backstories aren't filled out, and you don't relate to these characters in any way. Keeping it kind of small and coherent was something that we really focused on, and had to have some back and forth with how many monsters is appropriate. If it's just one monster, maybe that's too small. We at least need a handful in there. So that was something that we juggled a lot throughout development, and hopefully we succeeded at.
Nick,
I think that's a good idea because otherwise you just get really convoluted with a lot of like stuff not getting the attention it needs to make the story better.
Right.
And, that's, Marvel had 10 plus years now, to build all these different individual characters and stories. Whereas like, say this video game, this may be a one and only thing. So, you really don't want to do that. So I think that's a really smart move. And I think that's where a lot of, just to put it in perspective, like the Disney Plus show tried to do something similar into the effect of doing characters all in one story, but none of the monsters really got their time to shine because everything else was taking focus. I guess they just assumed people would know who these characters are or any of their backstories, and I don't think it helped their cause very much. But I think it's great. And I think with the video game world too, I mean, especially since this is going to cross all platforms, I'm pretty sure. I only looked to see with the one I had, which was Switch. So I know I'll be playing it on Switch. But DLC content, I mean, you could always add stories later with another monster to bump in there and build. So, I mean, there's always that opportunity, I think, as well.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I watched the shows. I tried reviewing as much Goosebumps content as I possibly could before, actually during and throughout production, but especially up front, just trying to take in as much as I could. And I definitely felt that. I mean, I thought the shows were actually good. I was impressed by them, but they took that like every episode is a new story kind of approach, and there's a whole new monster that you got to learn about. And with a limited amount of time, it can be difficult to do that because the characters, even people who are really well versed in the Goosebumps genre, or universe, they don't know if is the backstory that you're using for this character in the show what was from the book. Like, what have you adapted? What have you changed? There's a lot of guessing from the viewer on there. But yeah, and the what was it, 2015 Jack Black movie took that approach as well, just putting them all in there. And I thought that movie was actually really successful. But again, not trying to retread on the same ideas over and over again. If we even could pull off 100 monsters in a single game, how do we do it in a way that the movie didn't, or the previous games, didn't do? So.
Well, and the interesting thing about Goosebumps is that it's such a big franchise with so many different stories, so many different characters that, there's no shortage of material that you can pull from, but you can take a little more time to sort of flesh them out in a way that is familiar, but, revitalizes them for a new generation. And that's the amazing thing is that, honestly, you could make like 20 games on Goosebumps with all the different kinds of stories you could tell. It's such a versatile anthology franchise, and it makes it, very easy to. I feel like it makes it like very easy to pull material for not just games but shows, movies, like really anything. That's the power of a successful anthology.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I really like the concept you guys have on not retelling that story, but building on it and, what happened after the book. That's something you don't get to see a lot of. I mean, Stein has done sequels to books, obviously, but I mean, like, not to the extent I feel like some of them deserve, because there are some stuff that could get fleshed out more. You can make new characters. Even when we had like Catherine Long and Amos and Catherine Short on here, all from the original Haunted Mask 90s show, they all, we were talking about it, and the idea got thrown out of like, oh, now that Carly Beth's a mom and it's her daughter and their kids, and now they're dealing with the mask coming back, or this, that, and the other, or a new mask or something, a new threat, and they got to help their kids. I mean, like, yeah, that's a cool concept. I would totally do that. Like, I like seeing the progression of where the characters are now, what's happening. So it's a concept that's not explored a lot in Goosebumps, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there anything you could tell us about any material or concepts that was cut from the game, from the final product?
I mean, the Count von Smallen would be a big one. We definitely, I think in the initial pitch phase, we're like, a little dog as a monster would be fun and different. And again, even at that point, we were trying to think of just underserved characters and stories that we could represent there. So that seemed like an interesting one, but a very challenging one. Like having our monsters moving around the environment and being able to be spotted and avoided was something that was important. We really do like gameplay first style development. So very early on, we're prototyping and trying to figure out how the story is going to be impacted by the gameplay. So I think in a lot of instances, games are developed where the story, all the concept art, everything is like that pre-production work is done before actual production starts. And that gives the gameplay designers a little bit less control over what happens and are a little more beholden to the story. We always like to make sure that those things go hand in hand, that gameplay is impacting the story and story is impacting gameplay, and that everything kind of harmonizes. So we did a lot of early prototyping. Like we had pretty much a complete playable of the game from start to finish done after like 3 months.
Nice.
And not a lot of that was kept. Most of it's all thrown out. But if you're familiar with game development, it's called white boxing, where you just use like cubes to place all around and get a sense of the space, the environments you're moving through, the puzzles you're solving. And that was happening while the story was being developed. So we were able to go back and forth and say, this is what's working, this is not, and how do we need to modify things to make sure that it's all coming together nicely. I'm trying to think of other instances of like cut content specifically. I mean, some of the fighting mechanics had to be adjusted and adapted over time. Like a lot of us wanted a melee ability where you got like a broken piece of wood and it was a little too violent. So we had to keep massaging aspects of the game to make sure that they were just appropriate for the demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a lot of little things like that. But otherwise, just we initially had more endings planned. And we're going to tell them as storybook endings where you just read the ending. But it felt really out of place. And like the intro was going to be just you read it and then you're into gameplay and you've got, hours of gameplay and then the game ends and you just read the ending, which seemed like it made sense on paper, where it's like, yeah, this is a book series, like have them read some of it.
You're kind of living you're living the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of telling you like you go jump into the book scenario. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. But ultimately it didn't feel great. And so we had to trim down the endings, just limit it to 2 and focus on those being like fully 3D cinematic in-game as intro and endings. And then we still have a lot of reading throughout. If you want to do that, there's a lot of lore and interactable objects that you can optionally go up and interact with and read about that help to give you some more of the backstory and understanding of like character motivation. So the reading's there if you want to do it, but it's not, mandatory and not the way that the game's going to end. So we wanted to make sure that ending was really exciting and impactful.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned 3D cinematics that open and close the game, which are also fully voice acted. And that leads me into my next question. What was it like getting to work with the voice cast for this game?
Yeah, it was really awesome. I know Morgan in particular is going to be on the podcast. So she was great, just a really fun, enthusiastic person who brought a lot of life to our main character, Sloane. And I got the privilege of actually sitting in and helping with those. Like we have an agency that does all of the voice recording and has studios set up to manage all of it. People a lot more talented at VO engineering than we are, but I got to help sit in on those along with our other writer to help to give direction. Like what is it that you're doing in this scene? What's the backstory? What's the lead in, the lead out? How does it all connect together? What are your character motivations? So it's really cool getting to work with the actors and help them understand what it is that we're building, so that they can properly give the delivery that is meant for that scene.
Mm-hmm. And as for the crew, the development crew, people who worked, hard to bring this game to life, any standout members that come to mind?
Well, I don't want to mention too many from outside of our studio, because I don't know who wants their given out. But our team, the core group, PHL Collective, me, Nick Madonna, Bren King, Vince Earhard, Terry DeFelice Antonio. That's the core group of PHL Collective. Our other main designer, Brian Palladino, our writer, Heather Corson. Like we had a lot of people that came together to make this game possible. Justin Baldwin's another one he's our platform engineer who was able to get this working on all the different platforms, along with the help of Alex Hollander. So yeah, we've got a lot of people here. I'm sure I'm missing names. I apologize for anyone who I didn't name drop there. But a lot of people who come together to make this game possible.
Are there any other interesting stories from working on development of the game?
Is there anything I didn't bring up? I don't know. One thing that's funny, you mentioned Monster Blood early on. That was something we were specifically told to not touch. Apparently, previous games have had ratings issues in other countries with the use of Monster Blood.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we were told not to touch that one. And no show or movie references. That can often be complicated, just with licensing and the amount of different studios that may have hands in those the rights to those.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why it was easier with working with Sony and Scholastic and Gamemil to just focus on the original book series. And they were really great. To work with. We were able to get a lot of support from them. They also probably have more knowledge about the Goosebumps universe than we do, so they were able to read the story constantly and try to fact check it to make sure that everything is what it should be. But they were also super helpful throughout development, just gameplay testing and feedback to let us know, hey, this might be too challenging. These puzzles maybe don't have enough hints, so we need to add an extra piece of paper here or there to help guide the player throughout development. Because that's definitely one of the challenging things with puzzle games in particular, but especially puzzle games for kids, is finding that balance of, we don't want to just give you the answer. It should be a puzzle. You should have to think about it, figure out the solution, and then feel rewarded for doing so. But adapting it to kids, we don't really know what their understanding is going to be. What's obvious to us might not be obvious to them. And as a developer, anytime you're making a puzzle, you're from your point of view, it's yeah, this is so obvious. And then you put it in somebody else's hands and they're like, I don't know what you were thinking. You need to give me something, a little hint here or there to start figuring out what you were thinking about and how this puzzle works. So there was a lot of back and forth, and our partners at Gamemil and Sony and Scholastic were really helpful with that to be able to bridge that gap and bring in actually some younger play testers to try out the game early on and give us really helpful feedback to improve the game before launch.
Was there any
I was going to ask if that was the case, because a lot of them do use play testers, but I'm not sure how young they actually go with play testers. Most of the time footage I see is teenagers, mostly because most games out there, it seems anymore, are a T rating or an M rating. It's wild. There's some E for everyone, but then you're getting into the Mario territory. You know what you're getting into with that kind of stuff. So with the Goosebumps franchise, with the Disney Plus show being more of a mature audience kind of thing, they tried something new there. And then even the movies, like they had some innuendo stuff, but it's mostly kid oriented and, so it's all focused. But as a playtester, I think that'd be kind of interesting. Like, do you know, like what the feedback they had was? Is that like did they give you any of that insight kind of like to what you should do here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gamemil primarily handles it. But we're shooting for like 8 to 12, 8 to 14 was like the age range that we're mainly targeting. So I know that a lot of the testing was within that age range. I forget exactly. We might have had somebody as young as 6 or 7 though play testing the game.
Oh wow. Okay.
And yeah, they sit down with the game for at least an hour or two. We record the footage, so they're able to give us that, so we can sit there and watch them think through the puzzles and just navigate the world. And then they also fill out a survey afterwards and say, here's what I like, here's what I didn't like, here's where I got stuck, here's what I want to see more of. Oftentimes, when you have younger playtesters, they give you really elaborate ideas like, oh, I'd like to see X, Y, and Z. Like, I really like this book. What if you brought this character in? So it's always fun to see what they come up with. And I think a lot of it is, again, stuff that we take for granted and think is really obvious. Having played dozens and dozens of video games, there's certain things that if it's a kid who hasn't played this genre of game, they don't understand certain concepts that are just normal, so having to make sure that we guide the player, always have ways for them to figure out what they just did and what they need to do next is important. Like something simple we included was just like a note log. So you can pause the game, go to your notes and see all the notes that you've interacted with. So if there's something you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this back there, I don't want to run all the way across the world to find it again. You can just go to your notes and remember that information. And that was another tough thing where some of the games were pulling from, Crow Country in particular. Like, there's no direction given to the player. You start off, you're thrown into this world, and you've just got to figure it out. You don't know what your objective really is, what you're working on at any given time. You open the map, and there's like 100 question marks all over the place. So we really did a bunch of rounds of iteration on that to give the player a little bit more information with every go, and find a balance there where for younger kids, they should have enough information to just know where to go next and then have to figure it out from there. And then adding some objective text and more hints, stuff like that, to continue to just work with the play testers until we got to a point where we felt like you might get stuck here or there, but you should always have somewhere to like go to get a hint or get a little extra help as to what to do next.
Mm-hmm. Considering how bad I was
at Fifi be in the game.
Sorry, what was that?
Did any of them request Fifi to be in the game?
No, not that I can remember.
Well, and considering how bad I was at puzzle games at like 6 and 7 years old, like if I picked up something like Crow Country, I probably would have put it down after 5 minutes and been like, "This is too hard. I'm gonna go play Mario Kart."
Yeah, I feel like those type of games, Crow Country in particular, speak more to people like myself, where it's like I played games that were like this growing up that were really difficult and didn't hold your hand. But now I have years of experience and feel like, oh, I can actually beat this now. But as a kid, I could never get through it without some guidebook that's telling me every step of the way what to do.
Yep, the guidebooks.
Kids today don't know how hard it was back then. Turtles in Time and all. I mean, like, oh man, you die, you start all over again. There is no save. It's crazy.
No. Kids think video games are hard today. They should go back to the NES days.
Right? That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, I mean that was even a thing with saving. Early on, a younger playtester, we had save points, which again for this genre is like really common. It's like a physical location that you go and save your progress at.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't understand that. They ran right by it, avoided the save point, got like an hour into gameplay, died, and had to start all over again. We're like, oh no, that's painful.
Yeah.
So we did have to include like some auto save features at major milestones of the game. So, you know, if we're playing a little cutscene or if a new monster is being revealed that has a very high likelihood of killing the player or making them restart, let's just auto save there, help them out, you know, add an additional tutorial to call out save points, make sure that that concept is understood.
Well, it's good to have a game that is catered to kids, but doesn't quite always hold their hand, but just enough. Like, you know, some kids aren't as like skilled at video games, so it's important to have them have a little bit of help, but also not like, you know, it's not something that a 2-year-old could play, you know. So it's good to have that right amount of challenge so that a kid feels good when they beat the game, because they felt like they had a little bit of that difficulty they had to go through.
Yeah, and hopefully we found a good balance there. We never want somebody to, especially early on, hit a point where they just give up. They're like, I don't know what to do. I'm not having fun. Let's just throw in the towel. We always want to, you know, have something that's keeping them going, moving them forward, and making sure that they're having a good time, because it can be very frustrating just hitting a brick wall where you have no idea what to do next.
Nick, do you got any questions? Other questions?
No, mine all pretty much got rounded out kind of by accident through just talking, but it happens quite often here because we free flow talk. So not too much more on that. I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch, but I will say I am excited to try out this game and play it. Honestly, the trailer looked pretty neat. You know, I think a lot of people in this day and age just think, I mean, for instance, just, you know, from a different genre, you know, Power Rangers is kind of doing a new thing, right? They're doing a new show. I just found out about like Ninja Kids or something, but that's very taken from the original Mighty Morphin days, because that's what was popular. And I think this game will be popular for that same reason with Goosebumps fans, because it's taking from what was popular and still is popular, which was the 90s Goosebumps, the original 62. So I personally, because I grew up in the 90s era, I love it. Obviously, that's why I'm still doing Goosebumps stuff till today when I'm 40. So, you know, it sticks with me. So I'm very excited for this particular game for that reason alone.
Yeah.
And I guess my final question is it possible that this could be the start of a brand new line of Goosebumps video games?
It's tough to say now. I think it's all going to come down to the reception of the game. If it really resonates with kids and we did as good of a job as we hope we did, who knows? We really hope so. I'd love an opportunity to get to figure out some other stories that we could represent in a video game and continue to push this style of Goosebumps gameplay forward. Because also, like with every game, we improve. We can figure out what worked with this one and make it a little better the next time. So let's hope the fans enjoy it and that we get to do more of it. And I think real quick, Nick, to your point of, you know, like a lot of the 90s stuff, it's also what, as a studio, inspires us. You know, it's the stuff that we grew up with, that we loved, and feel like maybe some of the newer shows, especially kid shows, are not serving as well. And so we, you know, want to bring a lot of that forward, put it in front of kids of this generation, and hopefully inspire them to go back and read those books and see what we saw when we were kids. So, yeah, let's hope for the best.
Yep. Everybody
Yeah,
got to go get their copy of the game. Get this, make this a success so we can get more of these.
Absolutely.
Because we want more Goosebumps. We need more of that Goosebumps representation in the modern day. So
where we can Jeff Goldblum back for another Goosebumps game.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't played Dracula again. That'd be really funny.
I'd love to get him involved. We'll try and make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. But Brian Gitlin, thank you so much for joining us on behalf of PHL Collective. Thank you for taking the time to join with us, and of course, working hard to bring Goosebumps back into the video game sphere. It's very exciting, and we hope to see more from PHL and Goosebumps in the future.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me. It was fun getting to chat with some fellow Goosebumps fans and, reminisce on the good old days.
Absolutely. So we're happy.
Welcome back anytime.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. We're all Goosebumps fans here. But right. Thank you again for joining us. And we'll be coming up with our interview with Morgan Taylor in just a minute. But first, have these announcements. If you're a real Goosebumps fan, you know the best time to dive in is after dark when it's quiet, eerie, and every creak in the house suddenly matters. G Fuel helps you stay in that zone. Clean energy, no crash, just enough boost to keep your head clear and your nerves steady through every creepy episode. Grab yours at gfuel.com or click the link in the description and use our promo code GBCREW at checkout to get 20% off your entire order. Perfect for late night fear sessions with the Goosebumps crew. And thank you to G Fuel for sponsoring this episode. Come see us at Curse City Con in San Antonio, Texas, September 27th and 28th. Buy your tickets at cursecitycon.com or click the link in the description. So now we're here, as we said, with Morgan, who, as we said, is the lead voice actress in Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek, voicing the main character, Sloane Spencer. I hope I said the name Sloane right.
It's Sloane, I believe.
Sloane, okay.
But you know what?
I keep thinking that I have to say the Ann at the end.
I know, because the E, sometimes I'm putting an E on there, sometimes I'm just leaving it off, but you very well could be right.
Yeah. For the time being, we'll just say Sloane Spencer, the main character of Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek. And Morgan, you did the voice for Sloane in the video game, so we're very excited to talk about the game itself. But before we talk about the game, let's learn a little more about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your career as a voice actress, a voice-over artist, and a radio host?
Yes, so I got my start in radio a little over 10 years ago when I was 18 down in Columbus, Georgia. I was hosting my very own night show on a 100,000-watt pop radio station. So I did that and then did morning radio on an adult contemporary station and then a country station over in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Had a rough go my last couple years in radio. Became kind of a little bit of a toxic situation for me. So I started auditioning for voiceover roles on casting websites. So you pay a membership to get access to auditions. They call them pay to plays. So I was on Voice 123, which is a great resource if you ever want to get started in voiceover to give it a shot before you get the agent, before you book your first job, just to see what it's like. And my first audition, literally, I booked it somehow within like minutes of auditioning. I really think, knowing me, I'm very ADHD. I don't think and this is really crappy to say, but I think the universe was like, we need to show her instant success or she will move on. And so I got the bug bite immediately. And thank gosh, because I really have found my calling. But was making more than my radio job by like 3 months in, doing VO on the side. So I quit. Left that toxic environment and been doing VO for like almost 4 years now. I'm still fairly new in the industry when you look at the grand scheme of things, but I've just gotten very lucky how things have kind of popped off. So yeah, radio for 10 years and then pivoted into voiceover, and now I'm a full-time voice actor.
And you've gotten, even in the little time that you've done voiceover, you've done...
Just to interject here a little bit before you roll into that, Isaiah, I guess I'm curious. A lot of voice actors do stage stuff too. So with your background primarily being radio, how different was this going into like voice acting?
It was very different. I mean, I think one thing that helped me, because my agent will tell me now too, like a lot of people who come from radio struggle to drop the radio read, because a lot of my like bread and butter too, not outside of gaming, is commercial. Like that's where you make the bucks, right? You can make great money with gaming, going to cons, getting on a big title that's going to bring you a lot of fan base. And Goosebumps, I feel like, is the first time like people have really perked their ears up with a title I've done because it's such a notable franchise. But I really struggled just mentally becoming an actor because I came from radio. I had no acting training, and I really had to flip my mindset. Like, I'm not really a voice artist. I am a voice actor because it's so dynamic what we do. But I think doing morning radio, where it's basically what I'm doing with you guys right now, I had a co-host and we just yapped, right? I think it helped me drop the Q1073, it's Morgan Taylor, today's best music, like where you're literally just puking on the microphone. I think doing morning radio helped me transition out of that announcer-y read because it's so different. And a lot of people, I think, who come for radio struggle that. It's just, you're really like, your volume's different, you're talking loud because you're hosting a show and you're in the background to like grounding yourself. So it was definitely different. But I think morning radio made it easy, and that's why I saw more success because it's more grounded. People don't want you to scream at them in the first thing in the morning, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'm waking up early.
Yeah.
But, and even in the short time that you've been like a voiceover artist, you've gotten to do, you mentioned some commercial work, but you've gotten to do work for tons of different brands over your time doing voiceover. So you've done many commercials and, of course, video games. In fact, actually, funny enough, once, we got the announcement for the game and, we learned that you were doing the lead role. It was actually funny to learn that I did hear you before because you did some promos for Mario Kart World, some of the trailers that were promoting that game. So it was like, wow, that's weird.
So, yeah, it was like Mario, I think it was the Jamboree one. I did a trailer for Nintendo, and everyone thought I was Paulina. Or Pauline. Is it Pauline or Paulina? You know,
Pauline. Yep.
Yeah, Pauline. Everyone thought I was her. And I think that's the biggest compliment because me and my husband are big Mario Kart players. Like, we love Mario Kart. We don't have the Switch 2, so we're on the previous Switch. But I literally do her voice every time we play because I pick her. And everyone thought I was her doing the narration. And I'm like, I'll take it. Call me. Call me if you need
cool.
me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, free work,
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, that's what I love about, like, if you're good at the job and people can mistake you for like even a seasoned pro who you sound so similar, and it happens all throughout voice acting. Like, it goes into, like, I don't know if you know who Arlene Sorkin is, but she voiced the original Harley Quinn for Batman the Animated Series before Tara Strong took over later. There's a few notable differences in the voice, but you can barely tell. Like, you'd almost still think it's Arlene Sorkin. So that's actually really cool when you get compared like that.
Yeah, like, because that trailer is it's not like a typical in a world. I can't even do that, but like it's not an in a world thing. It's not just narration. Like, we really were kind of like, I'm an observer of the game, narrating like what a average Mario Kart or Mario Jamboree, Mario Party player would be feeling. And that's why I think, like, I saw so many positive comments, and normally us voice actors for trailers too and stuff like that, people don't give a crap about us. But people are like, this VO is so accurate for how you feel when you play. So that was one of the highlights for sure. People actually understood the technique and the vision behind that trailer. So thank you, Isaiah.
Stuck in so here's something for the podcast. I was stuck in the worst traffic because there was a smash, and I've started a second job because we're doing the event obviously later in the year, and I needed the extra cash for the event, so I started a second job. And usually I get home by about 9:15, but today was about half an hour on top of that with just sitting there, and I'm like, I can't even reach out to the guys because I can't take my phone out because there's cops everywhere. Yeah. So I'm like, well, they're either going to think I'm dead or I don't know, but I made it.
You're here. You're here.
Yes.
And
so I thought this could be just a fun little ad. There you go. You can make fun of it.
Well, that's fine. And moving on to my next question, Morgan. So you've been doing all this voiceover work for a while now, but how did you get involved with Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek?
So this was an audition sent to me from Hamster Ball Studios, which they cast me and kind of ran the whole thing, but it was through my agent that I had at the time in New York called Access Talent, because she had pitched me to this studio to get auditions because they help the process of casting and like the audio part for Gamemil and stuff like that. I believe because Hamster Ball does so much. So the head of the studio like reached out to me, like asked me to audition because I had made his list of actors he wants to hear from. And I auditioned, and it was a very simple audition. Normally, like, I was surprised how quickly it happened. I don't know, like, it wasn't even a full page of dialogue. It was like 2 or 3 lines, and a lot of the times with gaming, I sometimes probably overthink my auditions, but this time I've just kind of trusted my instincts, did what I felt was good, and sent it in. And I'm a psychopath and a little weird, and this is probably egotistical, but I like listening back to my favorite auditions. And sometimes that's a jinx. I didn't jinx this one because I booked it. So then my agent put me on Avail, which if you're on Avail for a job, Avail is kind of a mind okay, you can bleep that one out, Hayden. A mind because it could, if you're on Avail for a job, it could mean it's just you and they're just trying to get the schedule. If y'all know about this, tell me to move on, or if this is interesting. And then it could be just
I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't know that term or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know that term, so I'm interested.
Being on Avail for a job, it could either be literally just you and you're just waiting to get confirmed and schedules, or it could be like you and one other person, or it could be you and like 5 other people. So like I could be on a hold for a job for 5 days and then get released. So like just know like every time an actor gets an Avail, you're really trying not to get your hopes up because you know you could be getting an email 5 minutes later or 5 days later saying, just, you've been released. Thank you. Like it's great because you've made it to the final round. You're shortlisted. Like it's even more than a shortlist because you have no idea how many people it's between. But I was on Avail for it, and then I got the official booking and the script, and it all happened within like, actually it took like a month I think to cast because sometimes you forget about auditions, and then we recorded like within a few days of me booking it. So yeah, through my agent.
Oh, that's very quick. Within a few days.
Classic Goosebumps.
They got you
go.
That's
it was just
the
like,
industry.
okay, we got who we needed. Now let's get to work.
Yep. I think within like 2 days, I was like, all right, it's happening. Got it.
Interesting.
Crazy. I didn't think it'd be that quick. Like,
because VO is normally like the last thing that kind of goes into it, at least in my experience. That's different when you're doing like performance capture or motion capture, you know, because you're part of like from the beginning. But with a game like this, we're recording from our home studios. Everything's been done. Now we just gotta like get us in there, you know?
Yeah. How many days did it take to record everything?
It was only 2 days, 8 hours total of recording.
Wow.
We knocked it out.
Knocked it out of the ballpark.
And sometimes these games, who knows how long they've been starting since conception to trying to get the license and publish it and like animate, like that could take years. But my VO was over 2 days.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, it's funny. Like, Goosebumps is known for that go mentality from the moment, like, it's greenlit. Like, the '90s show was that way. We've heard even Tim Jacobus doing the covers was that way. Like, it's wild. Like, that's just a common theme in Goosebumps. But it's also very interesting that we only heard about this game like 2 months ago or something. It was crazy.
It just dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's
like, there was no
industry,
it was just like, boom, hey, there's a Goosebumps game.
It's out here. Because my brother said it's already on the shelf because he works at a store at JB Hi-Fi, and he's like, the game's there on the shelf right now. And I'm like, really? He's like, I'm pretty sure like it's meant to be a couple more days, but we put it out. And
Can you take a picture?
Yeah, I'll get him to send a photo through. Yeah, he's like,
just put it up here.
Messaged me, was like, that Goosebump game you wanted, like, it's on the shelf, and he said there's like a little cardboard thingy. So he's like,
you gotta take a picture. Please take a picture.
I'll save that for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Dude, you gotta be on
buy it from you.
You have to be on them and say, like, can I please get that cardboard cup?
Yes.
I want that so much. Yeah. I was like,
I'm going to GameStop on Friday. That's gonna be my first stop. Because I believe it's at GameStop, Best Buy, maybe even Target. I don't know. Walmart for sure.
Stop.
Yeah, so I'm going to GameStop.
I'm hoping Walmart.
Yeah, I'm going to GameStop, and I will be like, give me that. What name or price?
I hope they like
just be like,
promotional
you know
thing.
who I am.
Like, even if it's a poster, like any kind of promotional thing. Like, I'm hoping they even have a poster. But he's like, oh, we just have this little cardboard slip thing, and he's like, I'm assuming you want that. And I'm like, yeah. And then but then he's like, oh, are you getting? Because I'm a big Goosebump collector, so he's like, oh, do you want the PS5 version? Do you want the Xbox? And I'm like, yeah, just better bang in one of each. Like I can only play the Switch version because I don't have a PS5. But I'm like, yeah, what not? Just throw them all in.
Actually, well, I don't have is it? I think it's going to be on the first Switch too. So I have a Switch and I have a PS5, but I don't have an Xbox. So
yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't going to be Switch 2. Like, but then again, there was a lot of I don't know. That was sort of
maybe they'll do a Switch 2 port. Who knows?
There'll be a part 2 to the game. Anyway. There'll be a sequel to the game, and it'll go on the Switch too.
We'll see.
That's what.
And
crossing our fingers, we tried to put that bug in that ear to Brian yesterday. So
yeah,
make it happen.
Yeah, but
Terror in Little Creek 2.
Did you grow up reading Goosebumps or watching the show or anything like that?
So I know when we were yapping before, like, I was such a scaredy cat. I really couldn't handle Goosebumps. Of course, Goosebumps was, like, in front of me at all times. I do remember I had to go to daycare when I was a kid, right? So I went to this, like, camp over the summer. Or not camp, but it was called the Boys and Girls Club of America for our Aussie guy here, which my mom just sent me there during the day while she worked. And we had, like, a reading hour where we'd have to go in this room and, like, read books or, like, craft or something. And they also had a TV. And they put on Goosebumps for us. And I remember being like, I believe when I was like Googling, I was like, what episode was it? All I remember is there's this mask and then the kid got like possessed and I'm pretty sure that's like the first season, episode 1. Yeah. And that's kind of what I remember was watching that, being petrified, not being able to handle it. But I'm such a wuss. Like, I just recently, in my ripe age of 31 years old, I'll say my age, I don't care, been able to watch horror stuff. So anything scary growing up, it was tough. But of course, I know I had so many friends that had the books and I mean the show in the 90s, growing up as a 90s baby. Yeah, very familiar with it. Just wasn't part of my collection of stories.
Well, now that you're officially part of the Goosebumps lineage, I'm assuming you've probably had to do a little bit of research into the franchise.
You know, I did, like, I went back and I remember like you have some of the dummy. I don't know if those are like the Goosebumps, like
Slappy.
Yeah. My mom gave me one as a kid that reminds me of that. And I was like, that's why I hated that thing growing up, because they're so terrifying. But when I was prepping for Sloane, I did a little bit of research, but I knew that this was an original story. So I didn't want to try to do anything that felt authentic, because I'm an actor. I'm going to get in my head. So if I do too much research, I'm going to ruin it for myself. So I didn't do a ton of like, let me try to find a character to base her off on, because that's not what got me booked, right? I didn't really know. I don't even know if when I auditioned for it, if they said it was Goosebumps or if they just said big franchise, you know? But yeah, I didn't do a ton, but I think that helped my character. I've done more since I recorded it, like going back and be like, yeah, the show in the 90s and all the books, and even the books had a power of choice like you're going to see in the game. So more so even now after it's been said and done, which I think will make it exciting.
Absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit about your character Sloane and what her role in the story is?
Sloane is your classic like protagonist. She is so cool, and like the very beginning, you see it in the trailer, like she's really pissed off that the town is on lockdown. And she's trying to figure out why. She's fearless, which I am not. She's super intelligent, which, like, I can meet you halfway there, Sloane. But she has this group of friends, and she's really upset she's going to miss all these things her friends has going on. So she decides to start her own investigation. And she's just, like, a classic, like, smart, fearless, natural leader in the game. And she gets into everything. I'm trying so hard not to spoil things, and I'm not going to, but she dabbles in a little bit of it all with that whole the whole game, which is so fun.
I could be literally playing the game tonight, so you know.
I know. What the heck?
Well, and
tell me nothing.
Every other country gets stuff before the U.S. It's so upsetting. It's like
no.
I know today.
No. No, that
Oh
doesn't.
yes, oh yes.
No,
You guys-
illegally.
you guys get
This isn't legal.
Okay, you got the first Goosebump movie like 3 months before me. Okay, I had to wait till January 14th.
Oh, now we're
for that.
even.
So, okay, now we're even.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember that you guys got it October, and for whatever reason they were like, "Oh, January in Australia." I'm like, "That's stupid."
Who wants
Because
to go
it's
see a
like
Halloween movie in
is-
January? Like, who thought that up?
Again,
Australia really
it's the whole
doesn't
Halloween's not a
celebrate
big thing in Australia. It's not a big thing
Yeah,
here.
I was
So it's
gonna
almost
say.
like
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't care. But because the second one was called Haunted Halloween, they were like, "Oh, maybe we should release it at Halloween."
Yeah.
Like, we actually got the second one on time.
Well, that's good. At least one of them.
Yes.
I will say too, when I'm pretty sure, and I'm not making this up, but like, I'm just gonna vaguely remember. I'm pretty sure when I first recorded, I had asked everyone on the call, like, when is this coming out? Like, I want to know. And I think they said October at first, so it definitely got pushed up.
Mhm.
I think they were gonna try like a late September, almost like early October for Halloween, and then it got pushed up a little bit, which I'm grateful for.
Well, at least it didn't get
Well,
pushed
yeah, I'm
back to
kinda
like
happy about
Christmas or
that
something like
because-
that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Pushbacks
Halloween's already
sucks.
being pushed hard over where you guys are right now, so
Mhm.
they can
Yeah.
release it in August. You guys celebrate Halloween like the second you can. Like,
I know.
but yeah, he's like, I don't even think we put the game out yet, but it was there. And I'm
Same with
just like,
Christmas.
Yep.
cool.
I already see Christmas decorations since
Big-
last month.
Yeah.
It's been a big year
don't
for
know.
Summerween, so people have been
The
celebrating
term
Halloween
Christmas
since
in July is a real thing now, and people were complaining about Halloween in June. I'm like, well, it has to start in June. I was like,
Yeah.
Christmas takes it over.
Yep.
Like by the time July, August rolls around, Halloween's got to have some time.
No,
Man,
why?
like it's like a clingy friend or girlfriend. You just got to be like, dude, Christmas, push back a little bit. All right, get away. Get Halloween. It's
They
time to
shouldn't
shine.
start Christmas until November, okay? Like, and I'm talking like mid-November.
I mean, that's usually how I do it. Is like once Halloween's over, then it's Christmas time.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
that's how it should be for everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
leading into every holiday.
What about
Sorry.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Nobody cares about that turkey or those pilgrims. Come on.
That's funny.
My next question. So of course you play the lead character, but there are other people who did some voice acting for this game. Did you get a chance to work closely with some of the other voice actors, or were you pretty isolated?
No, yeah, we all recorded on our own. I did connect with the guy who voiced the intro to the trailer, Sam Hughesvio, I think is his name. But no, I saw someone commented, this other woman actor, I need to look up her name, like on one of the trailers. I think it was the one Gamemil posted or IGN posted, but she voiced like the twins. So that was cool to know, like she voiced, two different characters, and I wonder where she's going to go with that. But no, I mean, most games now, like, they really are like you're kind of recording on your own, even like some like even major AAA titles, unless you're like probably going to LA to record, doing performance capture. Obviously that's different, but no, we definitely recorded on our own. And I think it's a lot of it has to do with like Sloane. A lot of her dialogue, like she definitely interacts with the other friends, like the Harvey and the Lydia characters, and Mrs. Schnell, which you'll meet. She has a lot of like also internal dialogue that's like spoken out, a lot of just like outward thinking and stuff like that. So that's a lot of her stuff. And she's doing a lot of the investigation, not on her own. She has her friends help, but kind of as like a solo investigator.
I was kind of wondering how that was going because a lot of, behind the scenes stuff, I don't have any voice acting experience, but behind the scenes stuff I watch for things, a lot of them are in the room so they can play off each other, especially if they share a scene. It kind of helps with the energy. So I would think it'd be a lot more difficult if you guys are all on your own. I mean, so where does the direction come there? It's like, hey, they did it like this. I need you to kind of do this, or how does that work?
You have a really good director. And like a lot of the times I've had more bad directors than really good ones. And like, a lot of my work is commercial, and like that's a whole different. I've actually done I've been in the same room as an actor in my commercial work than I have never been in the same room with a character, like a animation job or a gaming job. Never actually had the privilege of being like bouncing off the other actor. But a really good director is everything. I had a great one from Hamsterball Studios, Gillian. I don't know how to say her last name or pronounce it, so I won't butcher it. But she's tagged in like my trailer that I posted for the game, and the most recent post I did with like a side by side of the poster and me with my Sloane glasses that I call these. But she really creates a scene. You have to have someone like reminding you when you're doing like efforts and stuff like that, like how far. Like there was one time where we were doing the last bit of efforts where I'm falling as Sloane, and somebody said like, well, it's just falling. And she's like, no, how far is she falling? Is she falling 5 feet? Is she falling 50 feet? Like that kind of direction. She really challenged me, especially for some of the like really high intensity stuff and the emotional stuff. That is everything. And she did line readings the way you would see like in an audition a reader. You know, she's not going full on, but she would lead me in and kind of be my scene partner at the time for a lot of these, which helped like with the back and forth dialogue.
Nice.
A good director is everything. Yeah.
For sure.
The falling thing, yeah, because you need to know how long you're falling because you need to be reacting for as long as you're falling.
And it's, people don't think about like, okay, if you see like we did probably almost 800 lines, like individual lines, and not just like not considering like line like sections of like this is the scene. Like I remember seeing the script just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because, yeah, you're falling once, but then you got to do that 3 different times in 3 different ways. It's not just, it's or, you know, I'm not going to act for you right now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, it's always about falling, eh? It's always like the falling thing that people want to, the most interested. Like there was a recent, I wouldn't say recent, a few years ago, the voice of Ash Ketchum, they were like, can you just like do the sound he makes when he's falling? And she was like, what? Like, you just want me to do the like sound when he's falling? Like, and that's all they wanted to hear because they're like, we're sick of the lines. Do like when he's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, like you're getting stabbed. That's going to sound different than if I'm getting nicked
punched in the stomach or something like that.
Exactly.
So when you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I totally get it.
And I'm going to say, like, besides doing Arc Survival Ascended, because I'm voice 5 and your character selects for Arc, which is not any dialogue, right? It's all just like efforts and like a million ways I had to die or fall or jump or make impact with something. And thank God I did Arc before this one because there's so much of that. And I think that's going to be interesting too. Like there's a lot of, not combat, but like maybe there's like some action, you know?
Well, that's interesting. And
so how did you find the voice then, this character? Did they show you a model of it or did they give you just a description? Like, how did you find the voice for this one then compared to other jobs you say would do voiceover for?
They gave me like teen, and I used to really think I had to like change and modify my like voice to do these younger characters, which is like a mistake I think a lot of people make. Like they think character actor, which a lot of people don't want that anymore, you know? They want you to be as grounded as you can be. So like Sloane sounds very familiar to what you're hearing right now. She's more like, we have to figure out what's going on. So she's like a little backer in my throat. I have a little more like of that going on to make her just sound more youthful and like not as confident in what she's saying the way an adult would, right? So she's really just like very teethy and mouthy and not really a lisp. I'm doing it like more than I would, but I just kind of pitch her up and just I try to bring characteristics vocally that make her sound more youthful and believable. But I'm not really doing a voice. I could do that all day. What's vocally taxing is the efforts and the screams and the stuff we had to do like that.
Yeah, the things that really put an impact on your voice.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So, any interesting or like funny stories from working on the game?
Let me think. I mean, it's all business when you're in that, right? Like they have a certain amount of time scheduled. I think just interacting with like when you get to play like that and they're telling you like a certain way you have to not die but be injured or you know when you're fighting something and you're really taking a hit, like that is always the most fun because you have the directors and stuff laughing, you have the publisher on there who's laughing, people from Sony who aren't even big creative folks like enjoying it. I think just the whole recording process, because we did it in just 2 days, was like so spot on. Because like when we have 4 hours, we have 4 hours, right? Like they're going to have to book time with my agent again if we're going to have to go over or whatever. But I remember Gillian was so respectful of when I had to do screaming efforts. because there was a lot of like guttural screaming. Like, I'm telling you, Sloane, you're gonna see all the emotions with Sloane. Like, she would be like, all right, that's enough. Like, because if I'm screaming for 10 seconds, I could lose my voice easily doing that if I don't know how to do it. So she was so respectful of being like, all right, we got enough screams, move on. And just that, I just remember that really standing out, because a lot of directors would just try to get something out of you and not really consider your vocal health. And she was so good about that, because could you imagine I lose my voice and then the next day recording I can't even record the rest of her lines because we spent too much time of me screaming. But I just really love that. Yeah. I love that, how like professional everyone was, and like everyone was like just really happy to be there and excited about the game.
People shouldn't forget that.
That's why.
Yeah. People shouldn't forget that voice acting can be just as taxing as like physical acting. Like,
I'm gonna let you know, I couldn't do anything during those 2 days of recording. My commercial stuff took a back seat. I didn't do any other auditions. I barely like spoke like afterwards, because we're always paranoid that we're gonna do something to damage it. Like, it is a true prep and de-prepping process. Like, I'm grateful for games and I want to do so many more of them. But one day if I keep booking these, like, you have to really schedule it, because I could not imagine doing that 4 hours of recording and then doing a commercial read and my voice is shot. And I'm emotionally exhausted, all the things, just after half a day of recording. It's a lot.
Did you ever have like a say on how your character was portrayed in the story? Like, did you sort of have any like creative control over your own character?
I think there's an unspoken creative control that happens when you really lock into what people want. And there was a lot of freedom with this character. Like, they weren't super picky. Like, some clients, especially when it's like such a genre-based game, like we were talking about Triple Z, right? Zoneless Zone Zero. It has such a sound and like the way they want actors to sound, and it's just very specific. Like, I feel like a lot of the deliveries fit a certain format. With Sloane, like, we found the voice based off of my audition, and then it was just like staying in that genre of not dropping too low into my normal register, but still keeping her authentic and you know, pitching her up and giving her that. We have to find out what's going on in the library. But they really let me have freedom with her goofiness, because she has like a slingshot. And she has some like one-line zingers, like bada boom. And like, you know, we're improvising like little zingers that she has like that when she's using her slingshot. And there was such creative freedom of how like I could be a little like a little, not kooky, but what's the word I'm looking for? When you're like
a little zany.
When you're like cute and funny. What's the word I'm blanking on?
When you're precious.
Precious.
When you said cute and
quirky.
like
quirky.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
So I got to bring just my natural quirkiness to her, and like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. They just really didn't like put me in a box. Like, if I wanted to be quirky with some of her line deliveries, we went there. And it worked for her character, you know? Because she does have a couple, like, quirky lines where it's a little, like, it's not corny, but it's definitely, it probably makes sense for, like, Goosebumps fans. Like, she has a slingshot, and she's like, bazoinka or something. I don't know. It's just little things like that.
Well, when it comes
they didn't put me in a box.
West sound effect stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to Goosebumps, like, you need the quirkiness with Goosebumps. That's baked into the very core of the franchise. So, I mean, that's very welcome.
The head of Sony Interactive reached out to me directly complimenting that about Sloane. So I'm like, they kept a lot of the humor that I think I brought to her. And I'm excited to see like what we kept with some of the improv and like those little zingers. So that was cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just it's amazing when voice actors have the ability to improv like that. Like,
yeah,
there needs to be a little bit of like, you know, reining in on the side of the director and whatnot. But you know, it shouldn't be too railroaded. Otherwise, it's not as fun, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it wouldn't be as fun, but you lose a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of improv in movies, television, that's not in the original, that actually improve upon what it is and becomes an iconic moment. So you never know what you're going to drop that may be that next iconic moment. So it's really nice that they have that improv moments, you know, but they let those in there.
Yeah, and like with the dialogue that like Sloane has, like obviously this isn't a super narrative game, right? It's not The Last of Us. I'm not having a full monologue, but there are times where she's like talking to herself or like looking for something, but where you see the personality is those little blurts of like, I don't know, like a sound like that, or like, oh, you know, like little things like that. Wallace,
Just
they would
making those
say
little
in anime.
sounds, like,
Yeah.
throughout the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
Well,
I love when the little sprite just does their little thing. Like you're playing a game and you'll just put the controller down and you'll just watch the character for a bit and see what they're gonna do. Like if you're playing, I don't know, Spyro, for instance, like he'll stand there and then he'll randomly just do like a backflip. You know, like I love when they do that stuff.
Or Sonic, like the original Sonic, where you leave the controller and then he just kind of like does like the
yeah.
That's
Fresh
what we got to
takes out his
do.
yo-yo and just starts
We
playing
got
with
to
the
do that
yo-yo.
a lot in Ark Survival Ascended. Like I'd be like, can I just like fart? And they're like, yeah. So I'd be like, like, and there's just random times that's happening, or I'm like just stupid crap like that. And they're like, no, we're camp. This is Ark. Do it.
That makes me think of do you remember the game Oddworld? Abe? No?
Yes.
You can literally just do that, and there's literally a command to just make him fart in the game because it's part of the game. You need to do it to progress in some parts of the game. It's so random. But like, yeah.
Weird.
Get a fart to progress.
Yeah.
Literally, there's parts of the game where you literally have to add it into the dialogue of the game. You have to add it in to make to continue. It's so random, but like
They also liked I could burp on command in Ark, so I would do those a lot too.
Hidden talents, I see.
See, that's like but that's like the fun of it.
listening.
Like that's the fun of doing like the jobs like this, is that you get to just be goofy, be silly. And again, totally at home in Goosebumps. Like that's just kind of what it is. It's the scary and the funny. We always talk about the balance between the humor and the horror. So
Sloane is funny. She's like a dad joke incarnate. Like I think it's too funny.
That's awesome.
That honestly, and it's funny you say that. Like that sounds like Stein. Like so I've got to meet him. So has Isaiah. But even in interviews you watch of him, like this dude has the most dry sense of humor, but like tells this like joke that is very dad-like. Yeah. But because like when you learn the history of Stein, like he prefers to write like comic strips and comedies and stuff before he did horror and everything that he got more famous for. So he started throwing in little comedy bits here and there, but that just cracks me up that you said that, because that literally sounds like how he is.
Oh, I love that.
So
there's definitely that. For sure.
So hopefully if
Especially
we
with
can see you at Curse City, you can experience that firsthand, because that I honestly think he's funny. Like, it's such a dry humor. It reminds me like a Norm Macdonald kind of thing. It's like it's so weird.
Oh, that'd be so
I know
cool.
Catherine Long, who played Carly Beth in the Haunted Mask 90s TV show. We've had her on here, and she had easily the best comparison of him, calling him the
creepy Mr. Rogers.
Creepy Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
And everyone loved Mr. Rogers.
Yep.
So I love that.
Exactly.
It was creepy.
Kind of creepy. Yeah.
A little creepy. Hello, neighbor.
I'm almost imagining that meme where it's just like he'll pop up and say something like horror related or kind of creepy, but like that. The Egyptians believed the best way to. Have you ever seen that? No.
I think so.
You can
Where
have
it's like-
Stein narrate like National Geographic or
Well,
Animal
Stein is a
Kingdom thing. I would
notoriously bad actor.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
no, he's terrible. That's what makes it so great, though. Like he's just himself. It's literally like how you saw him in those intros to the '90s episodes that he did intros and outros for. Like that's him. Like
Somebody show me
we
the
always
way
wonder,
out. Let me out of here.
behind closed doors. Yeah, you wonder if he's different behind closed doors. Like if Stein's the persona he puts on when he walks out, like puts on the whole black outfit, puts the glasses on. That kind of looks like Sloane's, which is kind of neat. And then
Kind of like how
walks on out to
Gilbert Gottfried's
but then when
like,
he gets behind the door, he's like a totally
love
different.
it.
well, it's kind of like how Gilbert Gottfried always had like that voice, but then you find out that that wasn't actually his real voice, and it's like, what?
That freaks me out. That freaked me. I always thought that was his actual voice.
Yeah,
It's kind of
and
same
then
with Larry Like I thought that was his voice, but then like when he talked normally, I'm like, who is this guy? So voice acting goes for live acting too, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Because I always thought these people actually sounded like this in real life. I was like, you don't sound like Iago.
That's why, I'm sorry, hot take, but a lot of these on-camera actors are not good at voice acting. It's different.
No.
Very few of them are actually... You could be a phenomenal on-camera actor, like stuff I would never be able to do, but like... Even like Margot Robbie was asked about something recently, because I'm getting tired of just like basically typecasting animated films when we have people that are like truly voice actors that could just bring to life these characters, but we're just hiring insert generic A-lister, which is great for them. But like you can tell they don't know what you could really bring to voice acting. And Margot Robbie, I respected her so much for saying, she's like, I couldn't do it. It's so hard. I've tried it once. I need people to feed off on. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes you don't get that. Even with like a big... I mean, there are big, Pixar movies and stuff that have been done where they're all recording their lines separate, and some people cannot thrive as an actor in that environment.
That's why people had an issue when like Chris Pratt got cast as Mario. But honestly, though, but for me, one of the biggest like insults to me when it came to that was the movie Scoob, the Scooby-Doo movie, because they literally replaced all the voice actors except for Frank Welker doing Scooby with like these Hollywood actors, and they sound terrible. Will Forte. Now, Will Forte can be a great voice actor, but he was not doing a great job as Shaggy. Yeah. And then they had Zac Efron as Fred, and like I don't even remember who else.
Why didn't they just get Matthew Lillard to do?
They did that.
Well, Matthew Lillard is an example of somebody who's a great on-screen actor and a great voice actor.
Yeah. And what's her name from The Bear? Ayo.
I don't remember.
She was you know who I'm talking about? She's been she's such a vocal reference too for a lot of characters. Commercial copy. She's very good because she was in not Elemental. What's the one where they have all the emotions? Yeah.
Inside Out.
Is he in Inside Out? Ayo.
Inside Out. Yeah.
Ayo Idabiri.
He did. Idabiri.
Yeah.
She's a very good voice actor.
Okay. Thanks, Hayden. Yep, I see that.
And on-camera actor, obviously, with her Emmy wins and The Bear and stuff. But she's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do occasionally get both, and it's a really interesting take, but I did not care for some of the movies that we just talked about, but I don't want to stir up anybody's emotions on that, so I will leave that there. But I will say, like, I'm not tricking me into that
Bjorn
one.
wants
so we are.
Pot.
I know he does. No, I really do. Like, I love Matthew, and the fact that he actually he did the live action Shaggy, but then they let him also do the animated, and he still does it to this day, and it's fantastic.
And they made it known that they got screwed over. Like, I think,
and to be honest, I like Mark Hamill as an actor, but he is much better as a voice actor. It blew my mind after I grew up and the internet happened. You could find out more about your favorite childhood cartoon characters who voiced the other. He was a Joker. I was like, the whole time I'm like, Luke Skywalker was the Joker. I was like, this is insanity. So then find out he's done a bajillion other things voice acting, and to me it's better than his live acting. Like, sometimes he's good at both, but sometimes you just are much better at one than the other. And it's really interesting to see that, because you think it's all the same. You think it's all acting, but there is a massive difference, which a lot of people I don't think really think about. So, like you said, you just have to have a good voice caster. You have to have a good director. Especially when you don't have anybody to play off of, which sounds like that's kind of the common thing nowadays, like you said, compared to back when you could watch those behind the scenes stuff and there's 2 or 3 of the actors in the room and they're doing the lines together. Or even the Disney films like Aladdin, you can watch the actors, Jasmine, and
the time of voice actors, because that was it's our time. We can just do it anywhere as voice acting. So you don't gotta it's really go anywhere necessarily.
COVID progress that quite a bit more. If I had to guess,
COVID
really
people
Kickstarted
could
a lot of
do it.
things, unfortunately.
Yeah, and a lot of new people came into the industry because of it, which is great, but it did oversaturate. Like, I was kind of one, I didn't come in during COVID. I was like, 2 years after COVID, but I would have never been able to have the career I have and work with the brands I worked with if it hadn't been for, unfortunately, something like COVID happening, and then people getting studios and casting being okay with people working remote. I have heard for like some AAA titles and like probably more network animation, like they are wanting people to come back into studio, even with like gaming, just for whatever reason, which I understand. Gotta be willing to travel.
Actually, it just brought up an interesting question. As a voice actress and a voiceover artist, do you have any personal inspirations for any of the work that you do?
No, I don't think. Like, what do you mean personal inspirations? Like an actor that I've known?
Yeah, like any sort of like other voice actors that sort of influence or like inspire you with your work, or is it pretty much like a?
I will say, like, of course, Tara Strong is like, you cannot be not mention someone like her. Yeah, like
a girl can do anything. It's crazy.
I grew up watching her and not even knowing who she was at the time until like I got into voice acting. Like, and she's so silly. I feel like, so I think I'm influenced by the shows I grew up. SpongeBob humor is me incarnate. Okay, like that.
Wow, that's you.
We are officially friends. Okay, because I love me SpongeBob.
Yeah, me and Bjorn will like literally just
on my leg. He's right there, and
me and Bjorn always are quoting SpongeBob. Like, we'll just whenever SpongeBob comes up, it's me and Bjorn, and Nick's not
like
really.
When I'm talking about the like. Remember we're like at Bikini Rock, like at Rock Bottom. Like,
Rock Bottom, yeah.
Or when they're also like cavemen and they're just, you know, I don't know, like.
It's like
when they're discovering fire.
Understand
just
your
saying
accent.
What you're saying, or when Patrick is my leg, stuff
my
like
leg.
that. Yeah. SpongeBob humor and shows like that really probably influenced just who I am as a person and like my goofy quirkiness. And then like, do you know who Jennifer Hale is? She's so good. She was like Totally Spies voice. She's done a bunch, but like I grew up watching Totally Spies as well.
Wasn't she in Scooby Doo? I almost think she was one of the Hex girls.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so, actually.
I think
She's been in
so,
so much like stuff I've forgotten. But like my big one for her is Totally Spies. But like I don't know, it's just really cool. Like Tara Strong too, her playfulness and all her characters are so fun. She's so good at improv. So stuff like that, yeah.
It's always interesting. Voice acting is just so cool. Like there's so many, like I probably have more favorite voice actors than I do like actual movie actors.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Who's the dude that voiced Kronk in The Emperor's New Groove?
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, I love him.
It's Patrick
so much.
Yeah,
that voice.
Joe Swanson.
That's Joe, Family Guy. Yeah,
I love him.
He's done a lot of stuff.
But he can act in real life too. He's done a few.
Yeah, no, he can.
Yeah. He did The Tick.
I much prefer his voice acting. It's another example of an actor who I actually really prefer their voice acting over their like on-screen acting. Not because they're bad. It's just I feel like they can cut loose more with voice acting, and you could tell.
Some people can really stretch their voices to like.
They have a lot of fun with voice acting.
They sound just completely.
Troy Baker to me is like a vocal chameleon, and that's really hard in the male space. Like women have an upper advantage. Like we can sound like little boys. We can pitch up really high when you're really good. You know, we can sound like a teen. Like the fact that Tara Strong can still sound like a child. Like a what the heck? But like males, I feel like probably get looped in my opinion, and sometimes in maybe like one genre, not one genre, but like an archetype of a character, right? Like always the tough guy or like always the like evil villain. But like Troy Baker is one of those people. He's just a vocal chameleon to me. Like what he did with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Or even like someone
he
like
even took
Frank
over
Welker
and multiple things when Mark Hamill didn't, but they sound very similar. And that's not an easy voice to replicate. So I mean, Troy Baker is like Nolan North is another one. I think he's done so much stuff I can't even list.
Frank
Jim
Welker
Cummings
is one too that he's done.
Everybody knows Jim Cummings. He's done some of the best stuff.
Jim Cummings.
Oh yeah, Frank Welker.
I mean, Frank
But,
Welker can do like the anytime they need like animal noises or like really like snarling, like they call Frank Welker. Like he can just do them so well. It's crazy. But
I love that.
But getting back over to Goosebumps, I'm curious, and we asked Brian this too. But what do you feel is going to help Terror in Little Creek stand out from some of the other previous Goosebumps video games that have come out?
Well, from what I've heard, I don't know. I think it's exciting that it's like it's a new story, but still paying like there are definitely going to be Easter eggs and stuff that, as you guys are Goosebumps experts, are going to recognize, because I've seen people see stuff from the trailer that they're like, oh, that looks familiar. I know that, like some of the monsters and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the dialogue is really interesting. I think the humor added to it. I didn't play the last games, but I don't know. I also think it almost reminds me, like when I'm watching the trailer and was doing the dialogue, it feels, even though it's not a narrative game, right? Like it's not like that per se. It felt like it when I was recording it, because there is a lot of emotion and a lot of dialogue with Sloane and like, good versus bad kind of thing. Like it feels more than just like make a choice and keep going, and it's going to be cozy and feel really like fun it's literally going to be fun for everyone, I think. But I think there's an element to it where you're going to see some good acting, hopefully you think that, and some really like in-depth storytelling than maybe you've seen for a game like this, and what you would expect for maybe a rated E title. Like there's some layers to it, which I think is fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to be playing it day one.
Maybe R.L. Stein's next, maybe we'll write a book about it. Maybe he'll do like a kind of like the Goosebumps movie. There was a novel. Maybe he'll do like a book.
That'd be cool. Oh, inspire the king himself.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, House of Shivers book could be the next one.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Maybe 3 from now, but yeah,
could be in the lineup for sure. That's kind of the thing. It's really funny to see, like, when we talked to Brian yesterday about it, like I told him, I was like, I originally, like, because it was dropped so quickly and like so unexpectedly, usually when that happens, when a game, my hopes are not high for quality. I was like, but watching the trailer, we were like, yeah, no, that doesn't look too bad. And the more that we hear about it, the more we're talking about it. Yeah, I mean, the excitement's definitely grown. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him the other day, the comparison, I would say, between this one and the old ones is I kind of feel like the old Goosebumps games try to treat kids like they're stupid. Like the stuff's way too easy. You can just, I even like
Goosebumps.
We kind of talked about like things that are really noticeable for adults may not be noticeable as much for kids. But he did say that they did more of a like playtester age group. Rather than just having like teenagers doing it, they actually did, I think, have some as young as like 6 or 8 or something like that do it too, and get feedback and do this, which is really helpful as well, obviously, in a game like this, because even though Goosebumps is primarily a kid franchise, it's good to have those kids come in on it. Because again, even teenagers, things will be more common than that. So, but it sounds to me like this game won't be treating kids like they're stupid.
Like, no, I didn't feel like that with any of the dialogue either. Like, I haven't seen any gameplay yet or like played some of the puzzles, but just like some of the dialogue that I've done, it didn't feel like that at all. Yeah.
Maybe
Could
I'll
be a
do
very
full
good family
playthrough
game.
of this game, and I could like be one of the first to like upload it. I don't know, but the thing is, we are a day ahead of you guys here too. It's the 27th today.
Yep.
So
you gotta let us know, Bjorn.
Technically out like a day, like a day and a half ish.
You're gonna be our tester, Bjorn.
Yeah, you better send us a picture of the cardboard. I would like a picture of the cardboard.
He said there's a little little card strip, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how big that means, but I'm like, well, so I'll have to message him, and on his lunch break, he'll have to go and take a photo.
I'm going to GameStop and harassing the workers. I'm like, go in your inventory and you pull it out right now.
Like, is there a
literally
poster?
Just pull up?
Is there a piece of cardboard? You're
pull up in sunglasses and just be like, just like having a moment to just take them off. And just be like,
pictures.
Just like, do you know who I am?
If you go to Curse City Con, you've got to walk up to Stein and be like, can you please sign the game? Like,
hold it
to him, and if he doesn't recognize who you are, just be like, by the way,
He's not gonna know
like,
who I
by the
am.
way,
Yeah, he's like,
Not
would you like
gonna
me to
know.
sign
Is he
one for
hurt?
you?
That's me.
Like, can I say,
that'd be
we're
funny, be like,
hosting this for you.
I'll
We're
sign it
hosting his
out. That
panel.
would be
I'm
funny.
fairly certain he
he's
doesn't know
like-
who we are.
No, you go up to him
He
and you
will.
say, no, you go up to him and you say, I'll sign this for you.
That's what I think
That's
he
what
would
I'm
think
saying.
is funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'll sign this for you. I'll give you a free copy, R.L. Stein. Here you go.
Yeah,
And-
have it already signed and give it to
Yeah.
him, and he'll be like, is
That'd
that
be
your name
hilarious.
on there? And be like, yeah, you know why?
My husband was
There you go.
roasting me when we were talking about this. I was like, what if people come up though and they're like, actually, I would prefer it not signed. And I'm like, fuck. Or excuse me.
Oh,
No, that's not the
No,
same. Not fair. No.
no.
I thought that was so funny.
If
People come
anybody
up and be like,
says that,
"Actually."
if anybody says that, they can talk to us.
Honestly, I want
We'll rough
I
them
want
up.
the manual sign. I want the front
Yeah.
sign. I want the disc sign.
I
I
love
want
it.
the whole thing. Bring the little cardboard thing and be like, sign that.
Please.
Hey, that'd
From
be one of a kind.
Australia.
Yes,
That would
please.
be one of a
Would be.
kind to have signed.
That would be
That's not
really
like
good.
your typical thing, right? So
Yeah.
that would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess one final question to end the evening. I guess this goes without saying, but could this be the start of a new Goosebumps line of games? And, you know, would you be willing to return?
Oh my god, yes. Anything. Yes. Animated show. I honestly have thought it'd be a really Goosebumps experts. Has there been an animated show?
There
Nope,
hasn't,
and we wish there
honestly,
was.
I feel like that should be the next thing because we've had
Like-
a TV series from the 90s, we've
Yeah.
had 2 movies, we've had a Disney Plus live action. I'm like, maybe the next thing to do is an
Sony
animated
has an
series.
animation
Like,
department. Come on. I was
That's next.
thinking about
Or an
that, like
animated
looking.
film.
Yeah, looking. Well, if it's a film, they're probably gonna hire some A-list actor.
They could do so much more stuff with an animated Goosebumps movie, though. Like,
I
think what
know.
the movies couldn't do, they could do. Like, because Horrorland, I guess, is too hard. So we could do a Horrorland series
then-
animated, and it would be so much easier.
And if
you
you
know?
look at
I was
the,
gonna say,
the
why don't they just
graphics,
do an
sorry.
anthology
Yes.
animation so that way you have
Yeah.
episodes? Yeah.
It'd be
Mhm.
like True Detective, right? Like every season is a totally new, like with the show, like it'd be like every season's
Yeah.
total like based off a
Yeah.
different book or a new story. I have thought animation the minute I saw the artwork like of the characters and of the poster, I was like, that'd be really dope.
I feel like this story could be an animated series,
This
literally.
could be the direction that they're thinking. Like, let's do this and see, like,
Maybe.
have you guys seen Monster House?
God, it's one of
yeah.
my
Like,
favorite movies.
like Monster House, the movie? Like
Yeah.
the movie Monster House. You know the animation in that? I would love to see Goosebumps in that kind of like
Yeah.
animation where they had like
That'd be cool.
live actors.
That
act
movie
it
was
out.
like a Goosebumps
Oh, motion
story.
capture.
Like,
Motion capture Goosebumps series.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
would be sick.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
love
Oh
that.
wait, that's like very detailed. Yeah, it's like Polar Express almost. Yeah.
same
Yeah,
company,
like that would be
yeah.
so cool. Like, like look at like Monster House is like a Goosebumps thing in a way when you think about
That's
it.
what I was
Like,
thinking. It was like it's almost like a feature-length Goosebumps story, like unofficially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they need to get Tim Burton involved if they're going to do that, though.
Ooh, that would be so a Tim Burton Goosebumps collab would be dope.
Tim
But
Burton
you know
we're
what's funny?
taking
Goosebumps.
it.
There was
Yeah.
supposed to be a Tim Burton Goosebumps movie as far back as '98, but they canceled it.
That's crazy. That would have been that
Yeah.
was peak Tim Burton. Like that would have been peak. Like was that before Nightmare Before Christmas? What was Nightmare Before?
So,
it would've
The
been a
Nightmare
little
Before
after
Christmas did come out in 90.
That was the early
Three.
'90s, was it?
Three.
Yeah, it was early.
That would have
90s.
been peak. That'd have been peak.
So cool.
It came out the same
What a
year as
yeah.
Hocus Pocus. So, yeah. And then he obviously had the success with Beetlejuice right before that, and then Batman 89 right before that. So, I mean, that was the era of Burton that was happening. So that would have
Yeah.
been
Corpse
fantastic.
Bride, dude.
What?
Corpse Bride. Love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie. I mean,
There's a lot of good animated like horror films for kids, so
Yeah.
they could definitely do it.
No, I think that's a great idea. Goosebumps animated series could be the next
Mhm.
fresh thing because we've had
Yeah.
everything else. So I feel like that could be the new something that
The new
would be
avenue.
exciting to us.
If
Something
they
different.
call, I'm
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, hopefully we get more
Manifest.
Goosebumps video games down the line. That means that you guys at
Yeah.
home got to go buy Terror in Little Creek. Go buy it.
Terror in Little Creek. The next game will be
Yep.
Terror in Big Creek.
Oh,
got big.
neighboring
That's
town.
just It got big.
I love it.
But we can only see for the future. But we're seriously hoping that we get more from here, because anything to keep the Goosebumps brand alive is always welcome in our books. So, and we're very excited to play it too. Just a few more days from the time that we're recording this, so we'll be sure to let you guys at home know. But that is going to do it for tonight's episode of the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. Morgan, thank you so much once again for joining us and talking some Goosebumps.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Absolutely.
I feel like old friends.
Yeah, you are officially an honorary Goosebumps Crew member.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Is there any place that our audience can find you on social media?
Yes, follow me on Instagram. I'm also going to give away a signed copy of the game of a console of your choice, because it's coming out on everything. So follow me on Instagram and just comment on the trailer I have pinned to the top of my Instagram. It's the.morgan.taylor. I'm going to pick winners from there, or you could go on Twitter too and just tweet at me. My Twitter's a little different. It's @MorganTaylor_. But follow, let's connect. And yeah, I'm going to pick probably the winner end of day, evening on the release, so I can find out what console you need and I'll ship it to you and I'll have it signed.
Even more.
I'll bring all three. When I come to Coast City Con, I'll bring all three and be like, "Yeah,
awesome.
Just you gotta. I've come so far from Australia. You have to spend all three."
And all the more reason to go and follow her on her social media. So Instagram, Twitter, you can find her there. We'll leave the links in the description below. So check it out. And of course, buy Goosebumps Terror in Little Creek. It's out at the time that this episode goes up. It is now available on Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch, as well as Steam. So PC users, you can get it as well. Go buy the game. Show that we want more Goosebumps video games, and support the awesome people over at PHL, and of course the people who put their time and sweat and tears and blood into this game to make it what it is. And go get yourself a copy, maybe 2, maybe 3, for all you hardcore Goosebumps fans out there. So all those links are going to be in the description below, as well as always Bjorn and Nick at Goosebumps Aussie Fan and Sean respectively. Go follow them on their social medias and their YouTubes. If you liked today's episode, make sure you have a like and comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our audio platforms and social medias. All those links are in the description below, so check them out. We'll have another episode for you next week, but until then, this has been the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, and from all of us here, I want to wish you as always to take care, stay safe, and have a very scary day.